welcome everyone to a Tuesday preview card for August the 24th, day number 17 of our season. And of course, that means just 1 week, Jess, till the New Kent County Virginia Derby presented by Woodford Reserve.
I mean, I'm pumped. Are you?
I'm just nervous about saying that at the start of the race. I don't want to screw any of that up.
The nominations look insanely good.
Yeah, the nominations for that whole day are going to be bonkers. Like, yeah, I suppose you throw up a lot of money, people are going to show up for it, right?
That's it.
There was a guy who's a Twitter guy that's a gambler, Swift, that was out on Wednesday, and he was telling me when he got there, he goes, that turf course just looks amazing, and it was, sad because we weren't on it, but it really is. I mean, the turf course.
Swift was at the track on Wednesday.
Yeah. He was,
and
he said he was going to,
and he didn't come say hello.
No, he said he was going to, but yeah, he was entertaining VIPs.
Oh, well, very fancy. Too fancy to come down to the paddock.
Yeah, sweet nine. They were living the sweet nine life. But I mean, it's true. Like, the turf course there is so awesome. So hopefully, with weather permitting, we're all set back on it this week. We actually start out Tuesday's card though on the main track with a maiden claimer 10,000. We were joking about not having our bottom level maidens in the finale on Monday. Well, we got them right here.
I get what I asked for.
Fearless Kitten had a pretty rough trip last time. Ended up getting kind of cut off going into the turn, and Untuttable Speed, who's also in this race, got DQ'd from that. But other than those two, there is not much form in this race, Jess.
Untuttable Speed, I'm sorry, 28 starts is not the charm for me here. You only get so many tries.
Oh, he almost had it last time before the DQ.
Almost
80-1. Oh, he was one of the ones I mentioned yesterday. Like, all of a sudden, Caramano shows up here. He doesn't ride many 80-1s.
Sure, and that is sort of an interesting, and to take nothing away from Johan Rosado either. He almost got the job done with this horse.
Yeah.
But I went with number 2, Lady Tismo. Ferris Allen's been very live so far this meet. He is, from my understanding, the all-time leading trainer at Colonial Downs as well. And Kevin Gomez, again, also live. It seems logical here. Her resume overall is one of the better of this field. That's being a little generous. This isn't, I mean, I don't think we're seeing world beaters here, but I think she fits.
I think Fearless Kitten is a little bit of a trap, because that 1-2 effort back on the grass was really good, and obviously the effort last time out was severely affected by the trouble issue on the turn, and the horse still ran okay. Those were both, or that one was on dirt. So I don't know. I just feel like this is a little bit of a trap. The people are going to fall into. They're going to see that effort 2 back on turf. They're going to see the cutoff, and they're going to see, at least what looks like somewhat formful horse, who I don't think is that far ahead of everybody in this field.
No, and I think in this condition in particular, it's really tough to swallow a short price.
Yeah. Your picks for the opener?
My picks are 2, 5, 1, and there's another one in there somewhere. 2, 5, 1, and 4.
2, 5, 1, and 4. Second race on the card. We always start our early pick 4 in race number 2. This is a maiden claimer 20,000, going a mile on the inner turf course. And I thought that the number 1 XY Time is going to end up being a pretty big favorite in here. There is some first timers to the outside, but the horses who have run other than the one have not fared particularly well. Even though that one was on dirt, visually, I thought it was a pretty decent effort.
Well, I'm going with my standard rule with maidens that if you don't like any of the ones that have ran before, go with a first time starter.
6.
And that lands me on the region number 6. Interesting horse, quality female family, the Dam's a Half to hard knocking millionaire Fort Prado. Mm-hmm. And I like that he's debuting on the turf after training primarily on synthetics. You have to think, and I know it's not a hard, fast rule that they always translate like good synthetic form to turf form, but it helps.
It's certainly more common than from dirt, right? I mean,
sure. Yeah. I think they are sort of more similar.
And I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was unnoteworthy that Joe Rocco Jr. takes the mount. I haven't looked at the standings, but he's got to be either at, or him and Hermanos, I think both have 14 right now. Yeah.
And he doesn't ride as many. He seems to be a little more selective with what he rides.
I was anticipating that maybe MC Reardon's Firster would make it onto your list.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know how to say this horse's name?
I was just going to go Chikiran.
Good, works for me.
Okay.
Chikiran. There's a little pedigree there. The Dam earned 6 figures on the track and has produced a couple of run early types, so that's encouraging. MC also is a really good horsewoman. She got her start riding show horses actually with my trainer here in New England, so very small equine world. And I think she really prepares her young horses very well.
Yeah, she's 2 for her last 17 with Firster, so it's not unheard of for 12% with Firster, so it's not unheard of her to drop a good one first time out. Your picks for the second, Jess?
6, 8, 2, and 1.
Third race on the card, we're outer turf sprinting at 5 furlongs, always worth noting. And some for an odd winner of 3, some really good informed horses. A couple of horses toward the outside, Beach House and Alluring Rumble, both come in with maiden wins and non-2 wins, and now going right there non-3, kind of breezing through their conditions. And obviously, only one of them, barring a dead heat, is going to come out, and maybe none of them, with a win here.
Well, for as much as I don't like Fearless Kitten early in the card, I
Yeah.
really like Beach House.
Yeah.
I think she's squarely the one to beat, trying to make it 3 in a row. She just looks like a horse kind of rolling through her conditions. And I think she was a horse that started out, looking like she might be an okay, nice quality type of horse. She debuted in Maiden Special Weight Company at Keeneland, so she must have had a little bit of horse to her.
Yeah, McCutcheon has he's 3 for 6 right now, and obviously 2 of the 3 are here, so he's 1 for 4 with other horses. But he's got another one, I think, later in the card, coming off a long layoff, who I thought was maybe worth a look, just because his horses do seem to be coming in live. Again, Joe Rocco Jr. lands here. He's been on board for the first 2 wins, of course. But I did want to give some mention to a couple other horses, just because like I said, there's a lot of horses that are pretty decent form here. Susan Cooney has Grand Skylark, who's coming in off a pretty good effort down at Pimlico. Lovey Lee was who I wanted to talk about, though, because this horse I saw win at Tampa. It was a huge favorite in that race, was supposed to win and did, but then they jumped to stakes. They tried allowances. Both those, one was on the grass, one washed off, but that was just too deep a water. And I think coming back to, $16,000 level, even though it's the next condition up, seems like a better move. And especially if you're going to get 8-1, because Chicago is going to take some money off the good form too.
Sure, and the name. I think that is one of those horses that might get a little overplayed because people are amused.
It's fun to say. I'm not going
to
lie.
It is fun to
say. My favorite scene in that is when he realizes that if he says Chicago, they all kneel. And so he starts going, Chicago, Shikasha, Shawshank Redemption. And he tries
to do that if this horse has the lead in the stretch. Please.
Going into full Jim Carrey mode. Yeah.
Yes, please. Like 1000%, please do that.
The mute button will be getting hit by many, many players from around the country. Oh, come on. Your picks for the third, Jess?
6, 2, 8, and 5.
We're maiden special weight, 2-year-old fillies at 6 furlongs in a race number 4. And, I was kind of excited about this race more so than maybe some of the other ones on the card. Can you hear that? There's like a huge motorcycle driving by.
I can't. The motorcycles in Virginia have really been the bane of your existence.
Wait, that's a thing, isn't it? Good Lord. My 2 discoveries of this trip so far this year have been motorcycles and white dipping sauce for chips and salsa.
I mean, I'm really pro one of those things.
I went to the Mexican place down the street from our lodging last night, and they brought it out, the white sauce, and I'm like, this stuff is good. I don't know what's in it.
It's so good.
It's a sweet sauce, which is weird for like chips, but man, and when you mix it with the salsa, forget about it. I'm on board. So I got to figure out what that is. Dallas Stewart, first timer. Now, you've been telling me lately you're not letting these Dallas horses beat you anymore. What about this one?
This one's probably going to, because I'm looking elsewhere. I went with number 2, Horizon Moon, here for Michael Trombetta, Julian Pimentel aboard. Interesting debut runner. Good work to have at Fairhill. The dam was a minor stakes winner, and it looks like they paid some real money for this horse, $120,000. And I know that's not, big money in the broader racing sense, but for an outfit like this, that is.
Yeah. I was curious to see what happens with Beverly's Charge, just because this one, in that Sequest race was kind of making up some ground late before flattening out. And that was after a bad start. And, I think there've been a couple that have come back from that Sequest race that haven't necessarily, I know Musique was scratched, but
boy, Sequest was impressive.
Oh man. And so, but I just want to see that race validated, because I know they're running at Saratoga, I think next weekend, or maybe closing weekend.
The Schuylerville, right? Or
I think so. When is that?
Yeah.
I forget when that is, but sometime soon for sure. Anyways, but yeah, Brittany Russell's got a nice firster. She's a barn that hits a lot at Laurel, and her horses haven't necessarily fired great here yet. But I know, like, for her barn, I feel like with firsters, like, they show on the tote board. So I'm going to watch with Don Land. But what were your final picks there for the 4th event?
2, 7, 3, and 5.
The 5th race on the card, we always start our 50-cent pick 5 in race number 5. I don't think we've had any non-9 race cards this year, have we, Jess? I feel like
no.
I mean, in terms of pari-mutuel betting cards.
Correct. No, 9 it is.
Yeah, which
we'll
love.
See if we have any bigger cards for Virginia Derby Day.
I argue that 9 is the perfect card length. That way you get, I don't know. I think it is. I mean, I love it. I'd
stay here all day talking about them. So, give me one of those marathon Gulfstream cards.
Oh yeah, no thanks. I feel so bad for Pete sometimes. Like, believe me, when Grant's passing, we throw up 8 every night. I'm a happy guy. And Tampa, I know, is not going to do that for me this winter. Allison's going to throw some 12s and 13s at me down there.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're digressing. The maiden 25, so certainly not the bottom. And I do think you're running into some interesting horses here with some actual form, as opposed to sometimes those bottom races you got to kind of look for it a little bit more toughly.
I went with the 11 unorthodox here, kind of a new face in town. We've seen a couple of these horses before, and they haven't left really that much of an impression. So
Yeah.
face, why not? And only his 5th start. I thought his effort last time out, his first in for a tag, was an encouraging step forward. He might be kind of finding the level that he is best suited for.
Yeah. Kind of made a middle move there. I went back and watched that replay just before flattening out. And to me, that's always somewhat of an encouraging sign, especially with the class drop, just because if things go a little bit better, I think is going to be a player in here. Who else did I want to ask about? Oh, the number 5. This was one of the ones where Karamanos takes over on a long shot, who kind of made a bit of a middle move last time out. It's going up in class, which is a little discouraging, but that was first time routing in a while. And I thought maybe there was just a few reasons to think that at a big price, this one could wake up a little bit. I think you can make an argument for the 6 Titrate coming up from Presque Isle, a horse who showed speed and kind of been in the hunt several times. Fred as a 10 was a good debut effort last time out for Kenneth Huffman. They jump up in price, but I mean, they have to be pleased with kind of how that went. I just thought kind of a race where you could make some cases.
Yeah, I think so as well. I also like China Beach a little bit, blinkers on, dropping back in for a tag. Oh yeah, solid group.
What was your total picks for the 5th?
11, 7, 3, and 1.
I was going to ask you about Nth Power, because I mean, just did no running at any point in any dirt race, and then they got on the turf and made a nice run.
Yeah, that was a really good effort and a huge step forward. You kind of wonder if that was how legitimate that was.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out come Tuesday about 3:30 p.m. 6th race on the card starts our late pick 4, and it's a $10,000 non-winner 2. We're turf sprinting on the 5 furlong course, so not the longest run into the turn, but as expected with the turf sprint, fair bit of early speed, horses that want to go for the early lead. And where did you land here in the 6th event?
I went with the 6, El Zopalate, going back to the lawn after 2 competitive efforts on the main track. His turf form's been okay. I think this is a case of a horse who is good right now.
Yeah, I honestly, I always kind of upgrade the Gulfstream horses here too. So was running at a similar level, at least in terms of price wise, and as you said, faring okay. And those Gulfstream turf sprints, they go so fast early there, but some of ours do too. I mean, we've seen some wicked paces in some of these, but the ones. I just feel like 21 and 1s, when you get behind at Gulfstream on those races, it's just hard, and they don't close as much down there. Here, I feel like they close more. So I think that's an interesting pick. Highly noted, you got to figure is one of those. This is to me an interesting problem, because loves to be on the lead, right? But it's always routing, and going 5/8 like probably isn't going to get the lead. If it does, could be tough. But like, I just feel like this horse is always giving up ground late and might not get its ideal situation in this one.
Yeah, I don't know if he's quick enough to go out front with these guys.
Yeah, I give a look to the 3 Blood Prof, who last time out, kind of just had an even effort a little bit, but was down on the inside, and early in the meet, it just seemed like being outside was a little bit better off.
I also do like a big long shot here at the 12, Toscanis, going back to the turf. Only tries on the grass have not been good so far, but boy, Karen Godsey's horses run well and look great.
Yeah, they Bodie Cody in this race too. I think our first 4-time starter of the meet. Couple thirds. I mean,
maybe this is the one.
A couple thirds at Colonial, pay the bills for a few months. So
for sure.
Yeah. Your picks for the 6th, Jess?
6, 12, 4, and 10.
7th race on the card, a mile and a 16th. Do we count this as the feature, Jess, even though it's in the 7th? I think this is.
I think this. I don't know. The 8th race is really good too. These are 2 really good races.
They're both very good, and obviously, folks who are Colonial Downs regular fans got to be very excited to see the 2019 Virginia Derby winner, English Bee, back here. Yeah, memorable for me too. I have very vivid memories of that night and that call. The one thing I'll never forget was 2 minutes before the race. So the governor was there to present the trophy, right? And I didn't realize the governor comes with snipers and sharpshooters and stuff, right?
Sure.
So where my booth is right next to the side of the roof. So I'm getting ready to warm up. I'm nervous. It's great. It's stakes race, it's Virginia Derby, the whole 9 yards. So I take a little walk around the booth and I look, and one of the snipers is set up right next to me, and I hadn't seen him until it just scared the crowd, because I didn't know that was a thing. And
Yeah, yeah,
so
that is a thing.
oh my goodness, I was terrified. But good to see. I mean, this horse has remained a very hard knocking type. Hawkish shows up in here. I have hawkish memories too. I can share those later on as well. But let's get to your pick first.
I mean, I went with English B. I think he looks well meant here. The way I'm kind of interpreting this is he just needs a little bit of a confidence booster. And he's a true graded stakes quality horse. And I think sometimes when they get a couple of bad beats in a row, they can sometimes lose their confidence. And I think this will be a stepping stone for him to kind of return to upper level competition, but not an easy task by any means. Like this came up really tough. I also really like Street Copper.
Yeah.
I liked that win last time.
Yeah, Street Copper looked great. I mean, really just blew by him. McCain came back to win, who was runner up that day. McCain won that 3-horse race going wire to wire on dirt. So I don't know what that tells us, but
no, but it's a thing.
Yeah. And Strike Me Down shows up in here. Another one who, I think was kind of a beneficiary of that wide path that was so good weeks 2 and 3. But it was a flashy late close. I mean, really cool looking gray horse too. It's just hard to kind of not to root for those types.
Do you have a favorite color horse?
I love gray horses.
You've never had to try to keep one clean, huh?
Yeah. I do a lot of work with horses. I think I touched one once.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll pet their face. I'm not scared of horses or anything. I don't get to the backside much.
We'll have to do something about that.
Can I tell my hawkish story?
Yeah, tell your hawkish story.
Okay.
Why not? Give the people what they want.
Nobody wants my stories about hawkish. What's interesting about Jimmy Toner, he's 3 for 3 with second place finishes here this meet. But Hawkish won the stake opening day at Monmouth, my first day calling there. And I love to joke with his owner, Justin Nicholson, that of AJ Suited. I said, this horse, he's never lost when I've called him, and he keeps going to other tracks. And so now he told me that this was why they were shipping down, because he knows that Hawkish likes me.
That's the inside scoop.
Yeah.
I mean, bet everything on this horse.
If this horse wins, you know exactly why. Jess, your picks for a fun 7th race.
1, 2, 3, and 6.
When I talked about that being the feature, I mean, I saw it and I go, well, there's the feature. They moved it up to the 7th spot, but I mean, race 8 is no joke either. A $70,000 purse, which I isn't as big as the $80,000 purse before, but some very nice horses in here. We got Oglutz, who's coming into this race, a perfect 2 for 2 over synthetic. Now going to try the grass. I mean, Ceylon Ellen was a huge winner here last time out. Just, again, good horses.
This is a really interesting field. So Oglutz, class test, big class test, and some question marks here. She's coming in off the layoff. She was last seen, I believe it was last November at Woodbine. So the layoff's a question mark. This is a tough group for her to face, but the Trombetta Barton's been very live. And at this point, there's no telling how good this horse may or may not be. That's kind of the beauty of these lightly raced undefeated types, is she could be really good.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of trainer Kelsey Danner. I think she does a really good job. She brings down Lilacs, who they tried on the turf last time, and really she rose to her best performance for career by a long ways. And so excited to see what that one can do.
I like her in this spot too.
Yeah, against a little bit a better group. And Michelle Lovell, as you've talked about, her horses have been live. They've been well spotted. They're coming in. Those Churchill races are tough. And this one was a very, very facile winner against a small field last time. Yeah,
but she looked really good doing it.
Yeah. Your picks for the 8th?
The 2, 6, 3, and 1.
The 9th and final $25,000 maidens going 5.5 furlongs in a classic big old field of 12 set to turf sprint. Our Strong Vows has really, really knocked on the door in 2 straight, just has not been able to kind of get up there. It just seems like somebody kind of gets the jump on her each time. But did you land there, or did you go somewhere else?
I did. I think she's just very good. I also like the step up in class, and she's kind of stepped up each time. They debuted her for 10. She ran really well, and then I think they didn't want to lose her, so they put her up for 16. And again, she ran really well. So I think this is a barn trying not to lose this horse here. My only question mark with her is I wonder if this horse will be better around 2 turns. She looks to me and is bred to be a horse that will be better with more distance, but at this point she's shown she can sprint, so why not?
I mentioned, and Karen Dennehy-Godsey's got another horse in here, our Sweet Pea, who looks like kind of a player. I mean, kind of just an even effort that first start, but was involved the entire way, which a lot of times in a debut is enough for me to look for that one in the second race.
That's good enough for me. I also kind of like Carson's Kitten.
That
Yeah,
was the McCutcheon horse I was talking
yeah.
about that was coming back. Yeah.
This barn's been has done so well that these kind of layoffs do not alarm me in the way
Yeah.
that they would under other circumstances. But again, this one looked like she was cut out to be kind of a quality horse running at Churchill and Keeneland and Colonial in 2020. I think she's pretty conservatively spotted here.
Yeah. Joe Rocco rode the horse before. And gets back on aboard. Obviously, that was at Keeneland back in the rare Keeneland summer meet of 2020. Everything was just weird, Jess.
You know, that October Preakness, when it's fine.
You know what always throws me off on Our Strong Vows is the owner is named Christine Berkeley Applegate. I always think of Christina Applegate, the
Oh
actress.
yeah,
And so every time I
yeah.
go to read the name in the post parade, I'm like, wait a minute, is that? No, it's not. Okay.
I love their silks, and I love that they always wear neon into the paddock when their horses
Yeah.
are running.
Yeah.
It's you can always spot these folks. They're just, I mean, the child of the '80s in me just loves it.
There is no better friend to an announcer than a bright neon silk. I can tell. Oh,
As
gray
a fellow
horse. Gray
announcer,
horse.
I can now appreciate that.
We're just gonna get your binoculars focused. That's
Ooh, that was grim for a minute.
we gotta try that again closing week. I said
I'm
closing
in.
week
Let's
would
do
be
it. I'll bring my own.
There you go. Or I could just teach you how to work.
Slow learner.
Well, about a million things going through your brain at that point. Anyways, Jess, we're back tomorrow racing, of course, as we now after, counting today, have just 5 days left in this meet. Virginia Derby Day again coming up 1 week from this Tuesday. So August the 31st. Get your tickets now.
All the cool kids will be there.
The cool kids will be there, I'm sure.
I mean, really, all the cool kids will be there. Everybody is coming down for this race. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like Junior Alvarado showing up on a Monday is kind of cool. And I'm sure a lot of all the Saratoga jocks, they ain't got nowhere else to be on a Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to seeing a full house.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys first back tomorrow for a Wednesday of racing, and wish everybody the best of luck on this Tuesday card.